Waiting for perfect readiness often leads to inaction because the idea of being ready is more complicated and elusive than most people realize. Many of us hold on to the belief that before starting something new, whether it's a project, a career change, a creative endeavor, or even a personal goal, we must have everything perfectly in place. We tell ourselves that we need the right skills, enough knowledge, the perfect plan, or the ideal circumstances. This mindset creates a kind of invisible barrier, a mental block that keeps us stuck in one place, hesitant to take the first step. The problem is that perfect readiness is almost impossible to achieve. Life is unpredictable and circumstances are rarely perfect. Skills are developed through practice, knowledge deepens through experience, and plans often need to be adjusted along the way. If we insist on being fully prepared before we begin, we risk never starting at all. This hesitation is a form of procrastination disguised as prudence. We convince ourselves that waiting is wise, but in reality, it's a way to avoid discomfort, fear, or failure. Inaction caused by waiting for perfect readiness can have significant consequences. Opportunities have expiration dates. Timing matters in ways we don't always appreciate. The world around us keeps moving forward, and while we wait for that perfect moment, others take action and progress. This delay can result in missed chances that may never come again. The gap between preparation and opportunity widens, and the longer we wait, the harder it becomes to catch up. Moreover, the process of waiting often breeds doubt and anxiety. The more time we spend preparing without acting, the more we start to question our abilities. Instead of growing confidence, we build walls of uncertainty. Our fears of failure or rejection grow louder, making the idea of starting even more intimidating. This creates a vicious cycle. Waiting to be ready leads to inaction, which feeds more fear and doubt, which in turn justifies further waiting. One of the key insights about readiness is that it is not a fixed state, but a moving target. You don't become ready by standing still. You become ready by moving forward. Taking action, even if imperfect, is what builds the experience, skills, and confidence that readiness requires. Every step you take teaches you something new. Every mistake becomes a lesson that makes you stronger. Waiting for readiness before you start denies you this vital learning process. In fact, some of the most successful people in history didn't wait until they felt ready. They started with what they had and figured out the rest along the way. Whether it's inventors, entrepreneurs, artists, or leaders, their stories often begin with uncertainty and a willingness to take risks. They didn't let the fear of being unprepared stop them. Instead, they embraced imperfection and saw starting as the catalyst for growth. Additionally, waiting for perfect readiness can foster unrealistic expectations about what success looks like. We imagine that success will come smoothly once we are fully prepared, but real success is messy, nonlinear, and filled with unexpected challenges. Those who act early learn to navigate these challenges as they arise, developing resilience and adaptability. Those who wait for the ideal conditions miss out on the valuable lessons that come from facing difficulties firsthand. To overcome the trap of waiting for readiness, it helps to redefine what it means to be ready. Instead of expecting flawless conditions, readiness can be viewed as having enough information, passion, and commitment to begin despite uncertainty. It means accepting that the first step might not be perfect, but is necessary. It means trusting that you will grow and adapt as you move forward. Ultimately, waiting for perfect readiness is often an illusion that leads to inaction, missed opportunities, and stagnation. The real key to progress is to start where you are with what you have and learn along the way. Action creates momentum, momentum builds confidence, and confidence opens the door to readiness. So don't wait for everything to be perfect, because the perfect moment rarely comes. Start now, and readiness will follow. A network error occurred. Please check your connection and try again. If this issue persists, please contact us through our help center at help.openai.com. Great achievements begin with courage, not certainty. This simple truth challenges the common misconception that success requires flawless preparation or absolute confidence before taking action. In reality, the most remarkable accomplishments throughout history and in everyday life have often started from a place of uncertainty, doubt, and even fear. What sets those who achieve greatness apart is not that they knew exactly how things would unfold or that they had all the answers beforehand. Rather, it is their willingness to act boldly in spite of the unknown. Courage is the driving force that pushes people beyond the comfort of familiarity and the safety of inaction. It is the willingness to face risks, setbacks, and failures head on, knowing full well that the outcome is not guaranteed. Many individuals delay pursuing their dreams because they seek certainty, a clear roadmap, or a foolproof plan. But life rarely offers such guarantees. The path to any significant achievement is almost always winding and uncertain. Waiting for certainty before starting is a recipe for missed opportunities and stagnation. When we look at the lives of trailblazers, innovators, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, and visionaries, we see a pattern of courage in the face of uncertainty. Consider the inventor who begins an experiment without knowing if it will succeed, the entrepreneur who launches a startup despite not having every resource or skill, or the artist who shares their work with the world even though they fear criticism. Each of these individuals steps forward, propelled by courage rather than complete certainty. Their actions inspire progress and innovation, proving that courage is a more essential ingredient to success than certainty. Courage is not the absence of fear or doubt. It is the decision to move forward despite them. Many people assume that to be courageous, one must be fearless. This is a misconception. Fear is a natural and important response that signals caution. However, it is how we respond to that fear that defines courage. Choosing to act when the outcome is unclear requires mental strength and resilience. It involves accepting vulnerability and the possibility of failure, but refusing to be paralyzed by it. This is why courage is such a vital force behind great achievements. It enables people to break through barriers that certainty alone cannot dismantle. In addition, courage sparks creativity and innovation. When people are certain of every step, they often stick to the known and the safe. Certainty can breed rigidity and resistance to change, whereas courage encourages exploration and experimentation. The courage to try new ideas, take risks, and challenge conventional wisdom opens doors to breakthroughs that certainty might keep closed. Many revolutionary discoveries and inventions have emerged not from perfect plans, but from bold attempts and fearless trial and error. Furthermore, courage helps sustain perseverance. The journey toward any significant achievement is rarely smooth. Obstacles, setbacks, and failures are inevitable parts of the process. Those who rely solely on certainty may abandon their efforts at the first sign of trouble because their confidence was tied to guaranteed outcomes. On the other hand, courageous individuals recognize that setbacks are part of growth and learning. They use courage to persevere, to keep pushing forward even when the path is unclear or difficult. This persistence often makes the difference between fleeting attempts and lasting success. Courage also builds confidence over time. It is a self-reinforcing cycle. Acting courageously strengthens belief in one's abilities, which in turn makes facing future uncertainties easier. People who take bold steps, even small ones, gain valuable experience and insight. This experiential learning creates a foundation for more informed decisions and greater certainty in the future. Thus, courage is not just a one-time act, but an ongoing mindset that fosters continual growth and achievement. Importantly, courage is accessible to everyone. It does not require extraordinary talent or perfect conditions. It begins with a choice, an internal commitment to act despite fear, doubt, or uncertainty. This means anyone can cultivate courage by embracing discomfort and taking small steps forward. Starting a new project, speaking up for an idea, or learning a new skill are all opportunities to practice courage. Over time, these choices compound, opening doors to achievements that once seemed out of reach. In conclusion, great achievements are rarely the product of certainty. They are born from courage, the willingness to act in the face of doubt and fear, to take risks without guaranteed outcomes, and to persist through challenges. Courage is the spark that ignites progress, the fuel that sustains perseverance, and the foundation upon which confidence is built. If we wait for certainty before we begin, we risk never moving forward. But when we embrace courage, we open ourselves to endless possibilities and the chance to create something truly extraordinary. Starting before you're ready means embracing imperfection, a concept that challenges the natural human desire for control, certainty, and flawless preparation before taking action. Most people feel the urge to wait until everything is perfectly aligned, the right knowledge, the perfect plan, adequate skills, or even an ideal mindset. However, this pursuit of perfection can become a trap that holds us back from making progress. Embracing imperfection means accepting that the beginning of any journey is rarely neat or flawless, and that taking imperfect action is often the most important step toward growth and success. When we start before we feel ready, we inevitably encounter mistakes, setbacks, and challenges. But rather than viewing these as failures, embracing imperfection allows us to see them as integral parts of the learning process. Imperfections highlight gaps in knowledge or skill, providing valuable feedback that helps us improve. Without taking that first step, those gaps remain hidden and unaddressed. Progress rarely follows a straight, smooth path. In fact, most worthwhile endeavors involve trial and error, experimentation, and continuous adjustments. By accepting imperfection, we release ourselves from the pressure of having to be perfect from the outset. This pressure can create paralyzing fear and procrastination, which stifle creativity and prevent action. When perfection becomes the goal, we might spend endless hours planning, researching, or doubting instead of actually doing. Starting imperfectly, on the other hand, encourages momentum. Momentum is crucial because it builds confidence and motivation, and it creates opportunities to learn in real time. It moves us from a state of waiting and worrying to a state of doing and growing. Moreover, imperfection fosters creativity and innovation. If we wait until we have the perfect solution, our ideas might become rigid, overly cautious, or derivative. However, when we accept imperfection and take imperfect action, we open ourselves up to experimentation and exploration. This mindset allows for unexpected discoveries, novel ideas, and creative breakthroughs that would not emerge if we stuck only to what we think is perfect or safe. Imperfection invites flexibility and adaptation, which are essential qualities in a rapidly changing world. Another important aspect of embracing imperfection is that it humanizes the journey. When we start something new, it's natural to feel vulnerable and uncertain. Acknowledging that we won't get everything right at first relieves the pressure to present ourselves as flawless or fully competent. This authenticity builds resilience because it helps us view mistakes not as personal shortcomings, but as normal and necessary experiences. It encourages us to be kinder to ourselves and more willing to take risks, knowing that imperfection is part of being human and part of achieving growth. Starting before we are ready also shifts our focus from an unrealistic expectation of control to a more realistic approach that values progress over perfection. Instead of striving to control every outcome, we learn to respond to circumstances as they arise. This shift increases our ability to handle uncertainty and builds adaptability, skills that are critical in any field or endeavor. By starting imperfectly, we become comfortable with uncertainty, which paradoxically can lead to greater control because we are actively engaged rather than passively waiting. Furthermore, embracing imperfection means redefining what success looks like. Success is often portrayed as a flawless achievement or a perfectly executed plan, but in reality, it is the result of perseverance through imperfect efforts. It's about making consistent progress despite setbacks, refining our approach based on experience, and growing through challenges. Starting before we are ready acknowledges that success is a journey full of learning curves, not a single perfect moment. In summary, embracing imperfection when starting before you're ready is a powerful mindset that unlocks growth, creativity, and resilience. It helps break the cycle of procrastination and fear driven by unrealistic standards of readiness. By accepting that beginnings are naturally imperfect, we allow ourselves to take action, learn through experience, and adapt along the way. This acceptance transforms challenges into opportunities and turns hesitation into momentum. Ultimately, embracing imperfection not only makes it possible to start, but also makes the journey itself richer and more meaningful. Learning and improvement are fundamental aspects of any meaningful journey, whether it be personal growth, a professional endeavor, or the pursuit of a goal. One of the most important truths is that these processes do not occur solely before you begin, but rather develop continuously as you move forward. The act of starting itself, taking that initial step before you feel completely ready, opens the door to a dynamic path of growth that cannot be fully anticipated or planned for in advance. When you start something new, you enter a phase of exploration. This phase is crucial because it allows you to gather first-hand experience, which is vastly different from theoretical knowledge or preparation alone. No amount of planning or studying can replicate the insights gained from actually doing the work. Every action, every decision, and every interaction along the way provides valuable information that sharpens your understanding and skills. For instance, an entrepreneur launching a new business might learn more about their customers, market demands, and operational challenges through the first few months of running the company than through months or years of planning on paper. This real-world experience is an irreplaceable teacher. Moreover, learning during the journey is deeply tied to trial and error. Mistakes and setbacks are inevitable when stepping into the unknown, but they are also powerful learning moments. Instead of viewing failure as a final verdict, it's more helpful to see it as feedback, a signpost guiding you toward improvement. Every error highlights what doesn't work and pushes you to adjust your approach. This iterative process is what makes improvement possible. For example, an artist who experiments with different techniques and styles will grow more proficient not by avoiding mistakes, but by learning from each attempt. Similarly, a writer develops a clearer voice and stronger storytelling skills through the process of drafting, receiving critique, and revising. Learning on the journey also fosters adaptability. Since the future is uncertain and circumstances often change unexpectedly, the ability to adjust your course based on new information is invaluable. When you start before you're fully ready, you embrace uncertainty and develop the capacity to pivot when necessary. This flexibility enhances your resilience, allowing you to navigate obstacles that might otherwise derail your progress. The process of continuous learning makes you more attuned to subtle signals and emerging opportunities, which can lead to creative solutions and innovations you might never have considered had you waited for perfect conditions. Another important aspect of learning along the journey is the development of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. As you face challenges and successes, you gain insight into your strengths, weaknesses, values, and motivations. This self-knowledge is essential for making better decisions and aligning your efforts with what truly matters to you. You begin to recognize patterns in your behavior, identify limiting beliefs, and discover new potential within yourself. Emotional growth also comes from experiencing vulnerability and uncertainty firsthand, which builds courage and confidence over time. The journey also allows you to build a network of relationships and resources that contribute to your improvement. Interaction with mentors, peers, and communities provides feedback, encouragement, and alternative perspectives that enrich your learning. These connections often arise naturally as you engage actively with your goals, rather than waiting passively for readiness. Collaborations, shared experiences, and constructive criticism from others become catalysts for growth that you might not have anticipated. It's also important to highlight that learning and improvement along the journey promote a mindset of lifelong growth. When you start without complete readiness, you set the stage for continuous development rather than a fixed end point. This mindset encourages curiosity, humility, and perseverance. You understand that mastery is not a destination, but an ongoing process. With each step, you gain more knowledge, refine your skills, and become better equipped for the next challenge. This continuous cycle sustains motivation and helps you maintain momentum even when progress feels slow or difficult. In essence, learning and improvement are inseparable from the act of starting and progressing. They transform uncertainty into opportunity and fear into confidence. The journey itself becomes a powerful teacher, providing the experiences, challenges, and insights necessary for growth. By embracing the process and committing to action, even before feeling fully prepared, you tap into the rich potential of learning that only comes from doing. This is why the willingness to start is so crucial. It initiates a path of discovery that ultimately shapes not just the outcome you seek, but also the person you become along the way. Fear and doubt are two of the most common and powerful emotions that can prevent us from taking the actions necessary to achieve our goals, pursue our dreams, or even make simple changes in our lives. These feelings often arise when we face uncertainty, challenge, or the possibility of failure. While fear and doubt are natural and to some extent useful emotions, because they alert us to potential risks, they become obstacles when they dominate our thinking and stop us from moving forward. Understanding why fear and doubt should not hold us back and learning how to manage and overcome them is essential to personal growth, success, and fulfillment. Fear often stems from the unknown. When we do not know what will happen next or when we imagine worst-case scenarios, our minds generate anxiety and hesitation. This is an evolutionary mechanism designed to keep us safe, but in modern life, it can become a trap. Fear convinces us to stay within our comfort zones, avoiding situations where we might feel vulnerable, rejected, or unsuccessful. The problem is that many of the opportunities for growth and achievement lie outside that comfort zone. By allowing fear to dictate our choices, we limit our potential and miss out on valuable experiences. Similarly, doubt erodes our confidence and clouds our judgment. Doubt makes us question our abilities, our decisions, and even our worthiness of success. It whispers that we are not good enough, not prepared enough, or that others are better suited for the task. This internal dialogue can become paralyzing, leading to procrastination or complete withdrawal. When doubt takes hold, it can be difficult to take risks or commit fully to a goal because we fear that we will fail or embarrass ourselves. Despite these powerful emotions, it is important to recognize that fear and doubt do not have to control us. One of the key reasons they should not hold us back is that they are often based on exaggerated perceptions rather than objective reality. Our minds tend to catastrophize, imagining the worst outcomes far more vividly than the likely positive ones. Learning to critically examine these fears and doubts can reduce their grip. For example, asking oneself, what is the worst that can really happen? Or what evidence do I have that this doubt is true? Can help reframe the situation and reveal that the risks are often manageable or less threatening than initially thought. Moreover, fear and doubt are often temporary and diminish once we take action. The anticipation of a challenge frequently feels more intimidating than the challenge itself. Many people find that once they start a task or step into a new situation, their anxiety decreases and confidence builds. Action creates momentum, and momentum generates a sense of control and achievement that directly counters fear and doubt. This is why starting before you feel completely ready is so powerful. It breaks the cycle of hesitation and builds self-trust. Another important perspective is to understand that fear and doubt are not signs of weakness or failure, but natural parts of the growth process. Almost everyone who achieves something meaningful experiences these emotions. What differentiates those who succeed from those who don't is not the absence of fear or doubt, but the decision to move forward in spite of them. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting despite fear. This mindset shift empowers people to face their fears head on, to accept vulnerability as part of the journey, and to see doubt as a challenge to overcome rather than a barrier. Additionally, fear and doubt can actually be used constructively. They signal that something matters deeply to us, that we care about the outcome enough to feel nervous. This emotional energy can be channeled into preparation, learning, and focused effort. Rather than ignoring fear and doubt, acknowledging them and using them as motivation helps transform anxiety into productive action. For example, if fear makes you hesitant to speak in public, use that nervous energy to practice more, prepare thoroughly, and visualize success. Building a support system is also crucial in overcoming fear and doubt. Sharing your goals and challenges with trusted friends, mentors, or coaches provides encouragement and perspective. Often, others can offer reassurance, advice, and reminders of your strengths when you struggle with negative self-talk. Hearing about others' experiences with fear and doubt can normalize these feelings and inspire courage. No one succeeds entirely alone. Connection and community are powerful antidotes to isolation and self-doubt. In conclusion, while fear and doubt are natural and understandable, they should not hold you back from pursuing your goals and dreams. They are often exaggerated, temporary, and manageable emotions that can be transformed into motivation. The key is to take action despite these feelings, to reframe negative thoughts, to accept vulnerability, and to seek support when needed. By doing so, you build resilience, confidence, and momentum, enabling you to move beyond fear and doubt toward growth and success. Remember, the presence of fear and doubt does not mean you are unready or incapable. It means you are human. What matters most is that you don't let them stop you from starting and moving forward. Every great journey, no matter how long or challenging, begins with a single step taken in the present moment. This simple truth reminds us that progress is not about waiting for perfect conditions, flawless plans, or absolute certainty. Instead, it is about making the conscious decision to move forward, even if the path ahead is unclear. The first step is powerful because it transforms intention into action, shifting us from a state of hesitation to momentum. Without that initial step, dreams remain distant ideas and goals stay locked in the realm of possibility rather than reality. Taking the first step requires courage. Often, the hardest part of any endeavor is simply starting. Our minds can be flooded with doubts and fears about what might go wrong or whether we have what it takes to succeed. These doubts can lead to procrastination and inaction, but the moment we decide to move forward, whether it's launching a project, learning a new skill, or changing a habit, we break the inertia. That initial movement, no matter how small or imperfect, signals to ourselves and the world that we are committed to progress. This first step also changes our mindset. When we only think about where we want to be in the future, the distance can seem overwhelming and daunting. The goal might feel too big, the obstacles too many. But when we focus on the very next step, the journey becomes manageable. Instead of being paralyzed by the entirety of the challenge, we concentrate on what we can do right now. This focus on immediate action builds confidence and clarity, helping us to overcome feelings of overwhelm and uncertainty. Moreover, the first step is a learning opportunity. Until we begin, much of what we imagine about the journey is speculation. We may not fully understand what challenges we will face or what skills we need to develop. Taking that initial step opens the door to experience and discovery. It provides real feedback that allows us to adjust, improve, and grow. Each step forward teaches us something new about ourselves, about the situation, and about what is truly required to reach our goals. Another important aspect of starting now is that it helps build momentum. Momentum is the force that keeps us moving forward once we have begun. The more steps we take, the easier it becomes to continue. Like pushing a heavy object, the first push is the hardest, but once it starts rolling, less effort is needed to maintain its motion. Momentum creates motivation and energy that propel us through challenges and setbacks. It turns the abstract concept of progress into concrete achievements and experiences. Taking that single step also demonstrates commitment to ourselves. It is a declaration that we value our goals and dreams enough to act on them rather than just think about them. This commitment strengthens our self-discipline and resilience. It reminds us that change and growth require action and consistency, not just good intentions. Each time we take a step, we reinforce our belief in our ability to shape our own future. Importantly, the journey is not about perfection at the start. The first step is often tentative, imperfect, or uncertain, but it is essential. Waiting until everything is perfect or until we feel completely ready often leads to endless delays. In contrast, taking a step now, even if small or flawed, moves us closer to where we want to go. It sets the process in motion and invites progress to unfold naturally through effort and learning. Finally, starting now connects us to the present moment. Instead of dwelling on past failures or worrying about future outcomes, taking action grounds us in the here and now. This presence is vital because the present is the only time we truly control. It reminds us that the power to create change lies within our hands at this very moment. By choosing to take the first step now, we embrace the opportunity to shape our path and move forward. In conclusion, the journey truly starts with a single step taken now. That step embodies courage, commitment, and action. It shifts our mindset from overwhelm to focus, turns intentions into experience, and builds momentum that carries us forward. No matter how big or small, that first step is the foundation upon which progress and success are built. The power to begin is always within reach. One step taken today can change the course of your journey forever.